Hey everybody, I'm here today with another Let's Make a Card video. Here is a look at the card that I'm going to make today. Very sparkly and shiny, so let's go ahead and get started. So I've got my die cut machine out ready to go, and I've got this stencil. It is from Simon Says Stamp, and it is actually supposed to be snowfall. I'm going to be using it as confetti today. But I've got a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch white cardstock taped onto the back of this, and I'm going to sandwich it between 2 pieces of fun foam that are cut to the size of the stencil. I'm also going to sandwich that foam in between my 2 cutting plates, and then I will run it through my die cut machine with all the tabs down. This will give it a very slight embossing, but it's really gorgeous in real life. I've also got these balloon dies. They are from Simon Says Stamp too, and I'm going to cut the largest, the medium, and the heart balloon. I'll use the medium on the black cardstock, the heart on this gold glitter paper, and I ran out of room on my platform, so I will go ahead and run these through. And then I'm going to come in with the largest balloon in the set, and I'm going to die cut that with some vellum. I've also got this happy birthday sentiment. It is a die set sentiment. It's also from Simon Says Stamp. I will show you the packaging in just a moment. And I'm going to cut this from some black cardstock also. I'll go ahead and run this through and just use your paper piercer to pop those out. Now I've left the stencil taped onto, or my paper taped onto the stencil, and I'm going to smush my Versamark ink pad down on this just to get some ink onto those confetti dots. So I went ahead and smushed that down, and now you can barely see it there, but I've got my Versamark on there. I'm going to put some Ranger Superfine Detail Clear Embossing Powder over this, sprinkle that on and dust off the excess, and then I will heat set this. Now I'm going to go ahead and gold foil over this, so what I'm going to end up with is not only gold foiled little confettis, but they're also raised slightly because I embossed. You can't really tell in the video how much it gives to the card, but it is so pretty in real life. So I went ahead and heat set those. I'll go ahead and take this gold foil. It's from Thermo Web. It's their Deco foil in gold, and I will go ahead and run this through my laminator. I wanted to make sure this was nice and stuck on, so once I run this through once in my carrier sheet, I'm going to go ahead and take it out and run it through without a carrier sheet. This is one of those things that you want to do it at your own risk. If you're scared yours is going to get stuck, don't do it. I'm not scared of mine getting stuck because I can take this thing apart and pull it out and put it back together. Ask me how I know, but if you're scared, don't do it. Mine didn't have any problems, but who knows with yours. So I pulled that off, and there you can see I've got nice foiled confetti on my background ready to go. Now I'm taking my black balloon, and I'm going to go ahead and use this Kelly Perky. It's a very small stencil, and it's just got some line designs on it. And I'll smush my Versamark ink pad over that. And then again, Ranger Superfine Detail and Clear. Heat set that. Put your gold foil on top and run it through your laminator. I was able to use the same piece of foil throughout this whole project because I was using so little of it. And then I also tried to do it with the vellum. I think I moved my stencil and got way too much Versamark on this, so it completely gold foiled it. That would be really pretty, but I wanted a vellum balloon, so I went ahead and just die cut another one. Now I am taking this black and white baker's twine. I am tying a little knot, and then I slip my end of my balloon in there and then pull it tight. I'm going to do this for all 3 balloons, and then I will come in with some Tombow Mono Multi Glue and squirt a little bit of adhesive behind these knots so they don't come undone. And then I will go ahead and just snip off the little ends. But while they are drying, I suggest putting something heavy on top just so it doesn't move around on you. There you can see I'm going to come in with just a tiny bit and squirt that right behind. Now I've went ahead and I've kind of laid out my card there, you could see, and I'm going to start putting it together. I've got my first black balloon there with some gold foil on it, and I'm going to use some foam tape just to pop this one up. I went ahead and laid this out to know which balloons I wanted directly on my background and which ones I wanted popped up a little bit. It just helped me figure things out. So I went ahead and put some foam tape on the back of that, And I will go ahead and adhere this directly onto my vellum balloon there. I want these to look like a bunch, so I'm going to go ahead and just put that directly on there. For my heart balloon, I knew I wanted it in between the large and medium sized balloons there. So what I did was I took a piece of foam tape, attached that to the back, peel off the backing from that, and then I will line it up with the other two balloons so it looks like it's the same height in the air as the other two. Place that down, and then so it looks like a bunch of balloons, I'm going to take all three strings hanging down from them and tie them into a knot at the bottom. And I'm not worried about the length of the strings right now. I don't want it to be even, and I'll show you why in just a moment. But for my happy birthday sentiment, it's very delicate, so I use glossy accents on this because it's such a strong glue. I wanted to make sure it stayed put. So I just put little bits of glue all around it, and then I'll go ahead and place that down onto the bottom of my card panel there. And then I'll just do that with the birthday also. And I went ahead and placed a clear acrylic block on top of my happy just to hold it in place to give it some drying time. Now you'll notice that the birthday has an eye in it, obviously. And what I do to keep track of that little dot is I just put it onto a piece of washi tape and stick it onto my shelf so I know where it is at all times and I don't lose it in my crafting mess as I'm going along. But what I'll do with the little eye dot is I've got this quick stick tool, and I don't use this very often, but when I do, I am so glad I have this tool. It is such a help with sequins and these little bitty dots that you need to stick down. So I also use some glossy accents for that, just to stick that right above the eye there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my balloons down using some double-sided adhesive on the back of those, and I'll just place that at the top left corner of my panel here. Now I wanted these to look like they were floating in mid-air. I didn't want them to look like they were attached to anything, so I wanted the strings to be wonky and misshapen and not at all the same. So I'm using some glossy accents on the back of those, and I'll just fix them in a controlled sway, I guess you could say. And then I also put some glossy accents on the knot at the end and attach that down too, so I know it's stuck nice and well. And then I'll put a clear acrylic block over this until it dries. Now on this panel, I attached some fun foam to the back with some double-sided adhesive on both sides. I'll go ahead and put that on the panel, and then I'll pull off the backing on the other side and attach that to the center of an A2 top folding card base. This panel was cut to 4 by 5 1/4, just so I have a nice little edge around there. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will leave you guys with just a few pictures. For more information and the complete supply list, you can visit my blog, craftingwhilecaffeinated.wordpress.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and happy crafting!